Welcome back, everyone. Happy, I guess it wouldn't be a happy Monday. It's more of a sad Monday. Bitcoin did what I kind of thought it was going to do yesterday, right? When we talked about it yesterday, I said Bitcoin's probably going to go and reverse all the gains that we had yesterday. I said there's a possibility it could happen in one day. Sure enough, it did happen, but I thought maybe we could continue going up and then fill that gap later on. But I like the fact that we filled it today. So we had that gap on the CME futures. Bitcoin definitely went down to it today. Trump didn't help us out, right, with the tariffs happening tomorrow for Canada and Mexico as well. It's just one thing after another. So we got a pump over the weekend, which I never like because we do have those CME futures gaps happening on Monday. And sure enough, that sucker got filled, and it got filled, well, towards the end of the day here. So we'll have to talk about that. The miners did much better in the morning hours, and then they crashed down in the after hours. We'll talk about that. What else will we take a look at? We'll take a look at CORZ Scientific. There's some news there from them. We'll take a look at Bitfarms production update for February as well. And then Hut 8 provided their numbers for fiscal year end 2024. And that's part of the reasons I'm so frustrating with them, is they changed the way that they're reporting things. So basically the data that I have for them for the last 3 quarters null and void. You could look at it that way. Makes it much harder for at least me to track how are they doing in Bitcoin mining and everything else, because everything's being lumped into a couple of different segments now. But we'll talk about that as well. And I think that's basically it. That's all I got for you guys here, I think, today. And after that, we'll get into Q&A. Okay? So as always, you guys know this for a fact. Not financial advice. For only do your own research. Full disclosure below that as well. And if you guys would be so kind, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. But let's take a look at what happened with Bitcoin today. So it played out exactly like I said it was going to play out. I should have maybe taken my own advice and sold everything in the morning hours and gotten into cash because, man, this thing is rough, right? So Bitcoin was up nicely over the weekend. On Sunday, pumped with Trump pumping basically Bitcoin and other assets, going with strategic reserves on those. We had a nice pump here. We're up 9.59% on the day, up $8,246. And then today we are down 8.6%, down $8,104. The good thing is that CME futures gap here that we had basically between here and like there got filled in completely. So that's now completely done with. That's good. We can start off the week and fresh, clean slate. But like I said yesterday, right, the market makers are not going to be happy with having that kind of a huge gap where it was almost $10,000 in difference between where it ended up on Friday and where it's basically starting out on Monday. So they got filled in. I'm happy about that. Right now, we're still down a little bit here from where we started, but Bitcoin's at 85,000 right now. We're actually a little bit lower than we were. Actually, we're close to where we were at the end of Friday. Saturday, we were up a little bit. Sunday, we're definitely up a lot, but we're back to where we started here. RSI came back down nicely as well, so that's kind of good there on the daily. We'll see where things end up here going forward. They are having a crypto conference, or what are they calling it? I can't remember what they're calling it, on Friday, I think it is, to talk about the strategic reserve there. We'll see how much they are looking to allocate for that, and maybe get some positions as far as percentage-wise, how much they can put into Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything else, Solana, Cardano, XRP, whatever else they throw in there as well. We'll see at that point. Other than that, Bitcoin is down right now for the month, or not down, it's actually up 2.32% for the month of March. We were up almost like 12%, I think, yesterday. So we're back down to reality, it looks like. MicroStrategy was down just a little bit here today, 1.77%. Bitfarms ended up the day with being down 5.17%. You can see where it started out and then where it ended up at. BitDeer was down 8%, same thing. Cypher was down 5.64. Cleanspark was down only 2.5. It was Cleanspark, who else was it? Cleanspark, I think, Hut 8, and Mara were trading even in the green towards the middle of the day, where others were already in the red at that point. CORZ was down 9.14%. Hive was down 8.21. Hut 8 ended up 4.5% down. They reported their quarterly results as well. They were actually positive because of FASB rules. We'll talk about that. IREN was down 8.13%. Mara was up just a little, or down, sorry, a little bit, 0.93%. Riot was down 4.5%. Wolf was down quite a bit here, down the most. It looks like 12.41% on the day. It was leading the pack here, I think, in gains in the beginning, but then it came back crashing down. All the smaller miners were down as well. The ETFs were down again. It's just so, well, frustrating a little bit here. What else do we have here? Everything else was kind of in the red here as well. So that's it on Bitcoin. I still think that we might get a bull run here with Bitcoin, especially with the states getting the SBR closer and closer to getting maybe signed by a state here. I think, who's one of the states? I can't remember. One of the states is pretty close to that. So that might be a little pop there for us. And then if we get other states getting into it and then the United States getting into it, now we got also talks of China in the background there in secret, looking to put Bitcoin as a strategic reserve as well on their balance sheet. So it's just game theory on. We'll see where we end up at here in the next 6 to 9 months. But yeah, that's it on those guys here, on the miners and everything else. Let's take a look at the stories that we do have here. Just a couple really quick. So Bitfarms provides their production update, and I forgot to load my sheets. I did forget to load my sheets. Bear with me here for a second here. Let me see. I'm going to go here while I load that up. Bear with me. All right, let's get this. Actually, I do have it up here, but I think that's from yesterday. I need to load the latest one here. And I didn't update the stock prices on these guys today as well. Let me see here. Large. Bear with me. Okay, there it goes. That's loaded up. Put that over here afterwards. Bitfarms. Okay, here we go. So let's go back over here to the screen. So Bitfarms provides February 2025 production update and operations update. Here's a quote from CEO Ben Gagnon. We are on track to close our acquisition of Stronghold Digital Mining following the recent successful shareholder vote, which Stronghold shareholders voted overwhelmingly in support, combined with the strategic sale of our 200 megawatt Guaguza Paraguay data center, also on track for Q1 close. These accretive transactions will improve our energy portfolio and transform Bitfarms into a North American energy and compute infrastructure company with lower cost energy and higher quality assets, suitable for both HPC and AI and Bitcoin mining. So that's good there. In addition, I'm thrilled to welcome our new SVP, Senior Vice President of Infrastructure, Craig Hibbard. Craig joins us from Mawson Infrastructure Group, where he was a Chief Development Officer. He has over 25 years of experience leading large-scale real estate development projects, including the recent rapid design and construction of a 200 megawatt of digital infrastructure for U.S. firms specializing in digital assets and HPC AI. Based in Pennsylvania, Craig will play a critical role in managing infrastructure development for our rapidly expanding PJM portfolio and advancing our HPCI business. So that's a pretty good get there. And then here's their update for operations. Total Bitcoin mined was 213. Month-end operating hash rate was 16.1. Nice little increase there from the 15.2 that they had there. They also improved their average operating hash rate to 13.4 from 11.2. So that's good there. And then Bitcoin sold only 75 here. They did add more to their HODL position here, which is 108 BTC, bringing treasury up to 1,260. This also includes the transfer of 30 BTC to a third party as collateral for active option contracts during the month. Okay, and that's basically it for the update here. When we look at Bitfarms over here, and the price on the stock is as of Friday. I didn't update it for today. Been busy all day. It's going to be a busy week for me. My wife is out of town at a funeral for her family, so I have the kiddos with me. So I'm playing double duties here with everything going on here. But here's what we got. Currently, Bitfarms has about 448 million shares outstanding, market cap 520 million. Their performance over the last 12 weeks has not been great. Current hash rate 16.1, future hash rate 17.2, but I think they said they're getting to like 18. So we might have to update that a little bit. Bitcoin HODL 1,260. That's valued at 106 million right now. So they got plenty of cash there for that. So they do have some runway, I guess you could say, to get the purchases done of Stronghold or the merger. When they sell the sites at Paraguay as well, they're going to get some cash for that. So that's going to put them in a better position there as well. I think that gives them some cash to grow out with. Even with the stock being down, being less, what is it now, $1 something. So that gives them some cash there. BTC production here, more or less flat, going down a little bit here over the last 6 to 8 months, now 213. Revenue 20.3, also kind of flat here over the last couple of months as well. Bitcoin HODL has been growing for them, which is nice. It's the highest they've had that in the last 12 months. Hash rate has also been increasing here, consistently, at least over the last 2 months. January, they were up 2.4 exahash. February, another 900 petahash. Bitcoin sold in line with what they've been selling in the past as well, 105 here. So that's not looking too bad. BTC per exahash efficiency, 13.2, same as it was last month for them. And then going down here, we'll get into these numbers here in a second. Institutions here. Institutions did increase for them, 225 now from 214. Shares also increased to 132 million, almost 133 million. Percentage owned by institutions now is at 28, so about almost 2% increase from that. We still have 6 buy ratings from the analysts, 6 strong buy ratings, 2 buy ratings. And then price targets for the high stayed the same at $6, average stayed the same at $4.29, and low at $3.50 for them. On that one, based on what they mined here and the average Bitcoin price, hash rate, and everything else, looks like they generated about 20.3 million in revenue for the month of February on it. We added some more machines to them in February here. I added these 234 terahash, looks like S21 Pros for them. Another 900 petahash of that added, got us to 16.1 exahash. And they were operating for about, on average, I'm guessing somewhere around 23 days or so, roughly, with everything else that they had plugged in, plus the 20 days of operating on the new miners as well, estimated. So that gets to those numbers right there. Going up here, based on the figures for February numbers times 12 months, we're looking at somewhere between $4 and $6.11, was where I think they should be fairly valued, right, with a PE of 15 for these guys. I lowered that because of their decrease in growth this year, right? So if they change that later on, we can always increase that right now. But if we look at the numbers for the last 3 quarters and the current quarter that we're in, having between 339 and 508, I think these numbers are pretty in line with what analysts are estimating as well. So I feel pretty good about those numbers here. The only thing is we need Bitcoin to rally in order for them to possibly get back to those numbers, get above $3, maybe to $4, and even higher, depending where Bitcoin goes. But right now we're kind of in no man's land. I think we're still in a correction phase of Bitcoin. We dipped down 28%, whatever it's been from the top here. So I think we're still in correction territory. It could play out a little bit longer, go sideways, and then it possibly goes up. We'll see what happens later on this weekend or later on this week when the president has their crypto council, whatever they're calling it. I can't remember what they're calling it exactly, on Friday, I believe. So we'll see what happens there. And for them, for Bitfarms, the only thing they got to do is really just continue to execute, really, and then maybe see if they can get some more growth in hash rate later on this year once they do actually get Stronghold and get things situated there as well. So that is it for Bitfarms there. I still own about 8,000 shares, like I said before. So I'm still holding on to that right now. I like the fact that they're growing here now and like to definitely see some more growth here happening in March as well. But just having continued growth going forward for them over the next couple months. Okay, but that's it on Bitfarms. Let's take a look at the next story that we do have here, which is going to be on CORZ really quick. CORZ Scientific announces planned CFO transition. We've known about this for a while. We do now at least have a name for the person that's going to be taking that job. So CORZ today announced Jim Nygaard, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right, will succeed Denise Sterling as Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer effective March 17th. This appointment follows the company's previously announced CFO transition plan. Mr. Nygaard brings nearly 30 years of investment banking expertise, including extensive M&A, corporate finance, and capital raising experience. Since 2008, he has served as Managing Director and Head of M&A at XMS Capital Partners, LLC, advising clients across multiple industries on strategic transactions and financing initiatives. Prior to joining XMS Capital, Mr. Nygaard spent more than a decade at Morgan Stanley advising clients on complex deals and growth strategies. So the guy's got some chops behind him, which is good. Some people have commented on X that this might be of the reason, well, are speculating at least, that maybe when CoreWeave gets their IPO done, that at that point they might be looking to buy out CORZ Scientific. Okay, I think it would be a good thing for CoreWeave to do that because then they have it all under one system, basically one platform. It's all underneath their belt, basically, which then you can, lower costs and things like that would be better for them. But you would have to pay a premium for CORZ Scientific, and then what kind of premium are they willing to pay? That's the big question there, right? I don't think anybody would accept anything less than maybe a 50% premium from where it's at right now, or maybe even higher than that, maybe 100% premium. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But really quick update on them, and then yeah, that's basically it. They continue to execute really well here. So looking forward to see what happens with that going forward. And then here, this is a frustrating part for me as well. HUD 8 reports the fourth quarter and full year 2024 results, but they changed things up on us again. So on page 3, let me see, where's it at? I was trying to look through the numbers here, trying to see if I can find the numbers for Bitcoin mining. Here it is. So I could kind of calculate things, but I can't calculate things when they're not there. So change in reporting segments. We changed our reporting segments during the year end December 31st, 2024 to better align with our objectives and operations. Accordingly, all financial results included in this report have been restated to align with our new reporting segments: power, digital infrastructure, compute, and other. Our previous reporting segments were digital asset mining, managed services, high-performance computing, co-location, and cloud, and other. Further details on the new reporting segments are included elsewhere in this annual report. I was like, oh, great. Okay. So when they merged with US Bitcoin Mining HUD 8, they took on the books of US Bitcoin at that point during the merger, which, okay, it was what it was. It was crazy, right? We had the data for HUD 8 for the last 2 years roughly, and then that data was null and void, more or less. So that happened last year, at the end of the year. This year, they were reporting the numbers for the different segments, right? So they were reporting for, where is it at? Here it is, self-mining, managed services, high-performance computing, co-location, cloud, and other. Now they're switching that up again. So the last 3 quarters that I have data on, well, that's no longer good. And then it's also that they're putting the stuff together. So they're putting a couple things in with, what do they call that? They're calling it compute, right? So in compute, they actually have their Bitcoin mining, the hosting, I think, is in there as well, along with their GPU and data centers. So HPC AI and data center things are in there included as well. And I was looking through the report here. If you guys find it, I haven't been able to find it, but if you find it, please let me know. Because I've been trying to see if they actually segregate those out into actual separate numbers for each one, like Bitcoin mining, GPU, HPC AI, all that stuff. And I can't find it. So, like I said, the data that I have on them is null and void right now. Again, for the second year in a row at the end. Why couldn't they have waited until the first quarter of 2025, put out that they're starting a brand new year, right? We're going to start out with a brand new change in reporting segments at that point. Instead, this is the part that's really frustrating. So I don't have any data for you guys on them. Going forward, at least, I don't know how I'm going to tackle this. I may just have to start over again and have bad data. But the big concern for me is not having the Bitcoin mining side of things for the self-mining not being segmented out. It's going to be really, really tough to see what their actual cost of mining Bitcoin is, what the operations look like there, along with the other business segments as well. It's because you're going to lump it all together in these segments. Not a big fan of that. So there's not much I can really report to you guys. You guys are more than welcome to read over the HUD 8's fourth quarter report, fiscal year-end report. They did make some profit there. I think it's on page 112, I believe, if I scroll down. I was looking at this earlier, 87 cash, where's it at? 112, what was I looking at 112 page? 1112, okay, assets. There's their assets, cost of revenues. Okay, here we go. So they generated 3.71 cents per share there for the year. And that was mainly because they had a revaluation of gain on digital assets here, 509 million for the year. So that really helped them out. Take that out, they would be at a loss right now, just like some other companies here that are taking advantage of FASB rules as it is. What else do we have here? General administrative, right? I mean, that we can kind of compare those things. We can probably figure those things out. But the revenue side of things, power, digital infrastructure, compute now, this does not align with what I have for them for the last 3 quarters. So it is what it is. So we can't really compare them how they did in the past 3 quarters compared to now, which is frustrating. And I'll have to think about how I want to proceed going forward. If I'm even going to track this stuff for them going forward, because if they don't break it out, I'm going to be trying to use percentages of different revenues and things like that. It's going to be a mess. I'm also going to talk to Anthony a little bit more about this. I did actually reach out to Anthony Power to see if he was able to figure anything out of this. He's an accountant, so I'm hoping maybe he has some insight into this as well, that he can shed some light and share some ideas with me possibly going forward. But yeah, it is what it is right now. So Sorry about that. Not much I can do about it. All right. So let's get into Q&A. I'll just leave it at that for at least right now. If I do figure something out on HUD 8 later on, I'll definitely provide that to you guys as well. Okay, but right now I'm at an impasse with them. Okay, let's get into Q&A here. As always, the spreadsheets and everything else is available to my Patreon members. Link is down in the description for that as well. Right, $8 a month right now. You might be able to find a couple of spots that are $5 and $4. Jump on those if you can. All right, that's the sales pitch. Let's get into Q&A here. See what you guys have to say on today's events that have transpired here just recently. And Bitcoin is down again. Oh, Bitcoin went down to the 200 simple day moving average just now. So yeah, it's bouncing again. I mean, doesn't look great. I mean, Bitcoin was much lower on the RSI here when we were actually up here, and Bitcoin is actually higher on RSI and price is actually lower. So we might be actually heading down lower. Some people are saying, well, maybe we might still be filling in that gap here that's left over just a little bit. We still have that little sliver here of couple, like $200 or something like that in here to get filled. So maybe that's still in play here, at least what I'm seeing. Maybe. Okay, something to keep an eye on. All right, let's get into the Q&A side of things here. As always, preface the questions with a question mark or a Q. And then I'm going to roll back up here on the comments, see if I can find some questions from there, comments that I think are also good. And let's see what we got here. BJ says crypto will be fine, miners are effed. I hope that's not the case. Let's see. Robbie says MA still looks good. Okay. All right. Question here. We go. Do you think IREN can go to mid-15, mid-2025? That depends on Bitcoin, right? Right now, Bitcoin's kind of in this correction phase, sideways trading phase, whatever you want to call it. If it holds that and it actually can go up in value, then yes, I would think that they can do that. But we need Bitcoin to go up. Without Bitcoin going up, nothing's going to change there. Okay. Can you explain better what is an air gap and how does it form and why and how does it need to be filled? You're talking about just a regular gap on the chart. So the way that it normally happens is on the semi-futures, right, for Bitcoin. So if we look at the chart here, this is the semi-futures here. The way it can happen here is Bitcoin trades 24/7, right? Whereas the semi-futures only trade for, what is it, 6 hours, 8 hours a day, roughly during the trading day. So you can have it happen overnight. It's less likely that we see that happening overnight. We do have it here. I think it was, where was it? This was Friday, Thursday. We had it Tuesday, Monday, right? We had a little gap here on the downward side of things. So that happened from Monday to Tuesday. So you can have it happen then. But typically it likes to happen a lot over the weekends, right? Where Bitcoin's still trading, semi-futures are not trading. And then you get these gaps here, like we have a gap here from November 24th and Monday, right? This was Monday and this was Friday here. We get this gap here where Bitcoin goes up and then, semi-futures start out over here. So those gaps typically like to get filled. It's not 100% that they're going to get filled, but typically I would say probably like more than 90% plus that they like to get filled back down. Sometimes it takes a while for them to get down there, but they do eventually get filled. Today we saw that it got filled really quick, right? It was just a huge gap here that we had between where semi-futures closed on Friday and where it opened up today on Monday. And we had almost a $10,000 price difference between the close on Friday and the open on today. So that's why those things like to get filled. And sure enough, I was saying, the market makers are not going to be happy about this. And that's why I really don't like Bitcoin having these big swings on the weekends, because then you do get these gaps happening and then they like to get filled. So I would rather have Bitcoin be flat over the weekend if possible, because you have now a lot of institutions in play here, right? You got basically what they call smart money, us retail or dumb money, and they will take control of things, when things are not in their way. So they don't like being punked over the weekend, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then eventually corrects. So that's kind of what is happening there on it. I'm happy that at least corrected here quickly today, and then we'll see where we end up at later on. But yeah, Bitcoin's definitely trying to do something here. Let's see if the 200 simple day moving average holds here. If it doesn't, like I said, we might be going down a little bit more to fill in that little gap that we still have right there, which is at 77.80 roughly, 77,800. and going up to the bottom of this wick here, 78,600. So what is that, like 200 or something like that? Some odd dollars roughly. That's still a gap in there. It might want to come down and fill that gap before we go up. And then you got the, let me see here. This is on the CME futures. You have this 200 simple day moving average down to about 76,500, something like that, 76, 77, right around there. So that's the part that I would be looking also for support on that as well. Okay, let's go back to Q&A. See, WP says, we will pump. Hang in there, guys. I am hoping the same thing. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Did it make you less confident when President Meme Coin tweeted about XRP sold out of poop coins, really? Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of maxis out there for Bitcoin, right? I can understand. I think Bitcoin's probably the better one out of all these guys here. It doesn't have a CEO, doesn't have a corporation behind it. It's just all basically a, what do you call that? A movement by the people, right? So, and it has sustained for a long time. It's secure. It's got a lot of people using it as well. So I think that one is like the top one to get into. And then you can, later on, I think you can think about maybe putting in some other ones. But yeah, I don't know. I'd rather just have Bitcoin in there as a strategic reserve and everything else being out of it for now. But yeah. Okay. Hey, Seb, do you think the miners need a perfect storm of good overall market conditions plus BTC pumping with strong tailwinds? I think so. I think they need, right now, I mean, things were looking much better this morning, right? Bitcoin being up over the weekend on Sunday, being up nicely, almost 10%. The miners were up 12, 14, 16% on the start of the day, overnight hours. And then the money makers, the manipulators got into the markets and they brought it down, right? They were not happy about having that huge gap on the CME futures. So they brought it down, and then we also had the news from Trump about the tariffs going into place tomorrow for Canada and Mexico. That also sent the markets down lower because the markets were in the green at that point, but it just sent everything down. Let's see. Robbie asks, why is it necessary to provide companies' names? Seems unethical in the reserve announcement. It still needs approval. I'm not sure what you mean by company names. The reserve, yeah, it still needs approval from the House and the Senate. That has to get through that. I think that's a better way of going about it. Executive order, you can hold what you have already, but you can't put on anything new. I mean, you need approval basically from Congress and the Senate to do it. All right. Question, is Mara a good buy for long-term hodl? If not, is it a good buy to hodl for a few months? I would say it's a good hodl, or it's a good thing to get in for a few months. I think the next 6 to 9 months might be better for us than what we have seen before here. That's if Bitcoin goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, it's not a great play. But that's the only way I would hold it. The only other way you would hold it is maybe if we have an extended cycle with Bitcoin. And we won't know that until we're actually in that cycle. Excuse me. Lucian says, told you guys about tariffs ruining the day, rally. Yeah, they have been, definitely. Oh, what else we got here? Okay. Anyone talking about selling here? Probably. Should never have bought the most volatile stocks in the market and held until the most volatile time ever. For BTC, sell later, but selling now is retarded. Yeah, I mean, I still think that we're in a correction. I could be wrong on that. The way it's playing out right now is just looking to me like it's a correction. The fear is definitely out there in the markets. And then the stuff that Trump says doesn't help either. Eventually, I think things will calm down. I think we have, I saw someplace today that, what is it? The inflation rate is coming down, which then might signal for the Fed to lower rates, which then would be a good thing for risk on assets. So time will tell. How will CoreWeave IPO filing benefit CORZ? Seem to be up on it after hours. Well, there's some are thinking that maybe CORZ would buy them out, or CoreWeave would buy out CORZ, basically. Let's see. I'm still holding Cleanspark. I'm getting wrecked hard today. A lot of people are. You're not the only one. I'm still holding Cleanspark. I'm still in the green on it though. And I still am holding IREN, Bitfarms, and now Mara as well. So, yeah. Let's see. Even Nvidia lost 10% today. Even after good earnings, the market is hard. It is. Plus, we had the good news from Taiwanese Semiconductor. They're going to be investing $100 billion into, what is it, 5 factories and like 20,000 jobs or something like that. That's great. Love seeing that happening here in the United States. We definitely need that because if something does happen to Taiwan with China, well, that's not a good sign there, right? It's not going to be good for everything that we need chips for. So we definitely need more chip manufacturing in the United States. I think that is a security thing even, I would say. Question, can we get the SBR situation right? It doesn't exist. He changed his mind to got back to the stockpile and now including XRP sold. This complicates everything. Nothing will happen. So it will depend on what is actually, well, I mean, he can say that he wants it in there, but if the Senate and the House put out bills that only include Bitcoin in there, and he can either at that point sign it or not. So we still have a ways to go on that. But what we have been seeing here recently with the states, at least, the states are at least going more towards Bitcoin only. And I think maybe that will follow over into the U.S. government maybe as well. Okay. What might be a miner's mag 7? Maybe simply a miner's mag 5 to simplify things. Like the top 5 miners here, I think that would be Cleanspark, IREN. We could also include in there Mara as well, right? So that's 3. Who else could we include in there possibly? I would say Cypher, Bitfarms as well, if they continue to grow and expand properly. Riot is now becoming more into HPC AI. They had activist investors in there as well, but they do have a huge hodl position that could benefit them as well. Who else? I would say probably those guys. Right? Brett says miners are trash. They're not doing great. Okay. Trying to find another question really quick. Okay, let's see here. Do you think BTC got hurt by Trump? I don't think he got hurt by Trump. He's the reason it pumped, right, when he got elected. So it pumped because of that. It pumped also because of his comments on yesterday. I think the market is just jittery right now with uncertainty. I think that's really happening there. Just too many unknowns with what's going to happen with the tariffs, right? Okay, they get hit. How is it going to affect the economy and everything else? So I think that's having an effect more so, the tariffs more so than just Bitcoin itself. Sorry, Melon. There you go. Positive side of things. The good news is for most of you already have your capital losses to claim on your taxes next year. Let's see. Do you think BTC was hurt? I already talked about that one. Sorry. Sebastian, are you happy with the current administration? There's things that I like about it, things that I don't like about it. I can tell you guys the things I like about it are like the Doge, securing the border. I like that. I'm not too happy with his standing on foreign policies, at least right now. What am I happy? Cutting taxes, right? All those things I'm happy about. There's things I like, things I don't like. And it's never, there's always, with every president, there's things that I like that they're doing, things that I don't like. So it's never going to be 100%, full support, right on, go forward. No, there's things that I think objectively is what I'm trying to say basically on the things. So there's things I like, things I don't like. Okay, see, I think we got a poll running right now. It looks like 55% of you guys are not happy with having Trump in the White House right now. All right, let's see here. Hey Seb, end of Q1 looks shaky at best. What are your thoughts now for potential cash out dates? But that's going to depend on where Bitcoin goes this month, basically. This month is going to be make or break for not only the miners, right? If Bitcoin stays lower than where it was at the end of Q4, that means the FASB rules go into play. They're going to be actually taking big hits potentially. So that depends on that. And we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. It just all depends on Bitcoin right now, where Bitcoin goes. Bitcoin could still rally in this month. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's see. I think the market will dip tomorrow. Canada, Mexico tariffs will be implemented on Tuesday. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Revenue, who's shorting the miners? There's already a lot of people shorting the miners as it is, institutions as well. Let's see. High step, shouldn't Bitcoin be a protection hedge against this uncertainty in the market? You would think, right? Store of value, good store of value, more adoption, less over time. I mean, less Bitcoin being created over time. You would think that would be, I mean, it's still up from where we were just last year. It's still up from where it's at right now. So over time it does grow, but it is still very volatile. It still can have corrections, 30, 35%. Those are not without trials and tribulations though, but it's tough. Kyle here says, best times to DCA in almost a year. Yeah, I bought last week quite a bit as well. Sorry, you think 45,000 will be the end of the year here? So you think we're basically in a bear market at this point? Let's see. Neville says, Tom's Lee's prediction is coming true. This man has been spot on. Yeah, we'll see if that... I think he's still... What is he calling for? Like 250,000 by the end of the year? Let's see. Do you still think these miners can do 2-3x from here? It's been getting a beat down compared to BTC. It's insane. I think that depends on Bitcoin, as anything does here with these miners. Bitcoin goes up, I think the miners will do very well, but Bitcoin doesn't cooperate for any number of reasons, then no. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on some comments here, questions as always. All right, here we go. Seems like tariffs and renegotiations will last for a few months, plus interest rates are due for cuts around June. Crypto reserve bill executive order review is 180 days, looking at Q3 pump thoughts. That might be, yeah, I mean, that's all possible, right? Bitcoin could go sideways here or even down a little bit more and consolidate in that area before it goes up. Historically, Bitcoin has liked to pump in like the third quarter, fourth quarter of the year. Bitcoin dropping again. Yeah, it's down another 3% here, down to 83,000. See, at 62,000 miners are done. Well, they're not done. They're just not going to be profitable at that point. A lot, or at least a couple of these guys that have, you know, low cost to operate, they're not going to be happy at that point. But some of the other ones that are high cost, yeah, those guys are going to be feeling it, and they're going to be definitely diluting more. Okay, where is it at? There it is. If Bitcoin goes back to 10K, would you still buy? If Bitcoin goes down to 10K, I don't think that will happen, because then I think we are in one heck of a mess in the economy if that happens. But if, yeah, I don't know if I would buy it. Cheat. I mean, last time Bitcoin went down to only what, 13.5, 15. I was like 15,500 went down to the last cycle, in the bear market. So I don't think that's going to happen. But if it went down that low, I might buy a little bit. I don't know if I'd buy the miners at that point yet, depending on what they're going, if they're still even working. But at that point, the miners are in deep doo-doo. All right, let's see what else we got here. Six-legged SmackDown says recession is in. Well, don't you need 2 quarters of negative GDP growth at that point to be down? All right, when are you selling Bitfarms? I'm not selling it yet. I'm still holding on to it. I've definitely pared down on my position in Bitfarms tremendously. 2/3 of my positions have been sold. I still own basically 1/3 of that, and I'm just going to let it ride, see where it goes. Okay, IREN versus Cleanspark, who has a lower cost to mine, less debt? Well, the cost to mine, I think IREN has a lower cost to mine there. Who has less debt? I have to look at their numbers. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I think it might be Cleanspark. Let's see. Omar says, Seb, live free or die trying, right? I'm all in. There you go. All right, fed up to all your guys' questions here. Let's call it a night. I got to take care of my boys here, get them some supper, have them take a bath, and do some homework as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow with the tariffs going into effect with Canada and Mexico. We'll see what happens with the market. Bitcoin's coming down a little bit here right now as it is. So like I said, we might still come down a little bit lower to get that other gap that we have that's just like $200 off from getting filled. Getting that filled in, I think that would be a good as well. And maybe that's what we're trying to go after right now, to get that filled in. But we'll see, right? We'll cover anything else that happens tomorrow. We should get some more updates from the miners as well, from a couple of them at least. I'm expecting possibly like maybe Cleanspark, IREN maybe to report, or Riot or something like that. We'll see. We'll cover it, see how they have done in February. All right. Thank you so much for coming in as always. Love you all. Have a great night, and hopefully the rest of the week is going to be better. Or not, we'll have our sessions, whatever we call those things. Gosh, drawing a blank on it. You guys know what I mean. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.